welcome to Petfood Forum, the global event for the pet food industry. You're watching Petfood Forum TV, your source for all the news, tips, and fun things happening at the show. I'll be your host, keeping you up to date on everything Petfood Forum related right here on this channel. Stay tuned for interviews with industry experts, features from the show floor, and of course, the daily highlights. Petfood Forum, where pet food professionals from all around the globe gather to learn the latest research and innovative information on pet food nutrition, global market growth, processing, packaging, and so much more. We're coming to you from Kansas City, Missouri, the heart of the animal health corridor.
Precision. It defines everything we do. From engineering concept to manufactured equipment. We bring this all together to produce state-of-the-art extrusion platforms. Precision, made in the US of A.
Each day, Trow Nutrition helps pets around the world live a happier, healthier life. Trow Nutrition is an international leader providing the companion animal industry with science-based ingredients. Our efforts lead to discovery and introduction of new, unique, and improved pet food formulas for our customers. Trusted, premium, focused, safe. Blending resources and innovative solutions is our foundation of creating long-term relationships with some of the leading pet food companies in the world.
Petfood Forum provides the ideal opportunity for pet food professionals from around the world to network, exchange ideas, and do business with one another with the industry's leading pet food manufacturers and suppliers. Our speakers are leading recognized pet food industry experts. Monday is all about the Pet Food Innovation Workshop. So here's the schedule for those joining us at K-State Olathe. Here are some things you don't want to miss. Today's hands-on workshop offers an all-star speaker lineup and unique learning takeaways to help improve your business. Tonight, you don't want to miss our opening night reception. We'll see you there.
We've created an environment here for students to be able to engage with industry partners. So this group here is the future of pet food. And so never before have we had such a turnout of both industry players as well as students to come here, learn about the industry and potential careers in the industry.
Welcome to Pet Food Forum TV. I'm your host, Kristen Levine, here with Dr. Ryan Yamka, back again from last year. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.
The first thing I wanted to ask you is to define novel ingredients.
So novel ingredients would be considered ingredients that you don't see every day in traditional foods. Historically, you wouldn't have seen things like bison or salmon in a pet food. And when they came out, they were novel protein sources. Now they're not so much novel because everybody's doing it. But now what you're starting to see is people use quinoa and some of the ancient grains, so they're novel. Some of the grain-free options would be considered as well. And then also whatever ingredient that might be delivering a specific nutritional benefit.
Share with us some of the opportunities associated with including novel ingredients.
The biggest opportunity is point of differentiation. In this day and age, you're starting to see a blurred marketplace when it comes to natural and grain-free, because historically you saw it in pet specialty. Now you see it in food, drug, and mass. So now it becomes really important is how am I going to differentiate my product, and how do I keep that premiumization and drive the buyers into those box stores. So when you're doing that, you might be looking for special needs, mobility, skin and coat, more novel, unique ingredients, a clean label. And when I say clean label, it doesn't have any words on there that you have to Google.
Okay.
And so
Google free label.
Google free label, and stuff you can pronounce.
Yes.
There's even some ingredients I can't pronounce, but I know the benefits of them. And so they really need to start looking at that from a point of differentiation, because the grain-free and meat-first is no longer novel to the industry. That's really a cost of entry right now.
Right. Is there this internal competition to see who can come up with the newest, greatest novel ingredient?
There is. Some of them we have fun with. One of the ones that I launched at Blue Buffalo was called Bayou Blend, and alligator was the first ingredient on there.
You won that year.
Yeah. And so that was one that, we started as R&D group. We started way in advance, and we asked, a couple of suppliers, what's the wildest novel protein you got? And they said alligator, and we said, sure.
Yeah.
And come to find out, dogs and cats actually really like alligator.
Do you?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
How about challenges associated with incorporating novel ingredients?
Yeah, so some of the challenges that you'll have is some of the ingredients will be so novel that they're not approved by FDA or AFCO. And when you have ingredients like that that you introduce, you could end up having stop sales. Probably the most recent one that has hit the highlights is hemp, right? You're starting to see a lot of people talk about hemp and their products and the benefits of that, but hemp is not defined by FDA, or it's not defined in the official publication of AFCO. And so as a result, they're willing to work with the industry to get those definitions and tell them what they need to do to get them approved, but since they're not approved, chances are you're going to start seeing stop sales by certain states, because that would be considered an adulterated product because it's an unapproved ingredient.
I see. You're watching Pet Food Forum TV, your source for all the news, tips, and fun things happening at the show. Welcome to Pet Food Forum TV. I'm your host, Kristen Levine, and I have a very special guest joining me now, Dr. Melissa Brookshire. Thank you for joining me.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
And you are the founder of North River Enterprises, is that correct?
That is correct.
So tell me a little bit about what you do there, because I think it's very interesting.
Okay, sure. I started the company in 2007. I was a technical services veterinarian for a pet food company and had a relocation come up and left my role at the company because I was moving out of state and founded a company based on veterinary customer support services. So I had done that work when I was an employee of the pet food manufacturer, and what I do is in cases where companies have someone reach out to them and it's a technical question, my pet has a medical condition, can I feed one of your foods, or which food should I feed? Or if they're calling and saying my pet has a medical problem and your food caused it, or I think your food caused it. I have a team of veterinarians that work directly with those customers and work with those customers' veterinarians to investigate the situation and find out if there is a potential that the food is involved, and then resolve that hopefully to the customer's satisfaction.
Wow. Now you are presenting here at Pet Food Forum, and the topic of your session is very attention-getting.
Yes.
And tell us about that.
Sure. So my presentation is entitled "You Killed My Dog," dealing with distraught customers in the age of pets as people. But really what has changed in probably the past 10 years is the role of pets in households has changed to where pets are really treated as family members.
Right. And how is that impacting the pet food industry?
So people want to feed something that they think is like what they are eating on their table. When they want grain-free foods, the pet food companies have to adapt and make grain-free formulas to fit that need. So I think the pet food consumer is driving a lot of innovation that's happening in the pet food industry. But then from the aspect of consumer support or communication, it's also changing the way that we communicate with those pet owners. When they feel like these pets are their babies, their fur children, it changes the way that we need to interact and relate to them.
What do brands need to do to be transparent and accountable to help ease the consumer's mindset?
Well, I think the most important thing is to provide all of the information about the way the food is manufactured, where the ingredients are coming from, how the ingredients are handled, what the testing is that's being done on the ingredients prior to coming in. The challenge is with millennials growing to the largest group of consumers and the largest group of pet owners. They are demanding information, demanding transparency, but then they're not necessarily buying the information that they're being given. So it kind of brings up this whole new dynamic, this whole new challenge for the industry. How does the industry get that information to those consumers and have them buy into it and accept it, instead of going to other sources that may not have accurate information that they're providing, but that's what's being believed and accepted.
Are they not buying in because they're skeptical?
Yes, I think the mindset is, especially when it's a big company,
sure.
There's a distrust of large companies. So smaller companies are trusted much more, but large companies that have great reputations and great products, the consumer is less trusting of those companies.
Monday is all about the Pet Food Innovation Workshop. So here's the schedule for those joining us at K-State Olathe. Here are some things you don't want to miss. Today's hands-on workshop offers an all-star speaker lineup and unique learning takeaways to help improve your business. Tonight, you don't want to miss our opening night reception. We'll see you there. After hours, Pet Food Forum participants can network and socialize in the newly revitalized Power and Light District with countless dining and entertainment options. It's just a few blocks away from the convention center. Forum provides the ideal opportunity for pet food professionals from around the world to network, exchange ideas, and do business with one another with the industry's leading pet food manufacturers and suppliers. Our speakers are leading recognized pet food industry experts.
Each day, Trow Nutrition helps pets around the world live a happier, healthier life. Trow Nutrition is an international leader providing the companion animal industry with science-based ingredients. Our efforts lead to discovery and introduction of new, unique, and improved pet food formulas for our customers. Trusted, premium, focused, safe. Blending resources and innovative solutions is the right formula to build your pet food business. Trow Nutrition USA is committed to providing superior quality and safe solutions. We pride ourselves on taking the necessary steps to confirm that ingredients and finished blends meet or exceed our customers' standards. Trow's Pet Food Ready quality program safeguards the integrity of our products and ingredient blends. Trow Nutrition has been a leader for decades, blending resources and innovative solutions. Give us the opportunity to create the right formula for you.
What does it take to be a leader in producing top premium pet food brands? What does it take to be the production leader of e-commerce pet food brands? What does it take to be the production leader in producing specialty pet food? Look no further than Extra Tech's wide variety of single screw processing solutions.
The workshops are tailored to try and introduce people to some of the concepts, but more importantly, you're introduced to the people that are behind the product. So it gives you access to them to ask questions that are pertinent to your own product, development goals to your own product performance goals in a very relaxed environment.
Welcome to Pet Food Forum, the global event for the pet food industry. Hello and welcome to Pet Food Forum TV. I'm Kristen Levine, your host, and now joining me is Isaac Matthews. Tell me a little bit about what Lansing Trade Group does.
Lansing is a commodity company. Basically, we supply ingredients and commodities to companies around the world. We buy and sell commodities, corn, wheat, soybeans, ethanol. The division I work in is primarily focused on grain-free ingredients.
So now you gave a presentation earlier today and you asked the question, is a silent pendulum swinging? What does that mean?
Well, the thought there is the pendulum of capacity utilization, and we've seen that in other industries. You have to stop and think, with all the capital investment in the industry, what's going on here? Is there a capacity utilization concern in the future?
And the answer is?
The answer is I don't know.
Okay.
The purpose of the presentation really was to spark some industry dialogue, to talk about and think about with the expansion of manufacturing capacity. About $1.3 billion has been announced publicly in the last 5 years. And I would argue that that number is probably 2x that's not publicly announced, because generally speaking, companies that are public versus private, they may not announce that they're building a plant or they're expanding internally.
I also read that you talk a little bit about how pet food companies should or should not mimic other industries.
Well, I think mimic is maybe a strong word, but at least understand other industries, such as the steel industry or the ethanol industry. What's going on there? We've seen times of capacity surplus, and the outcome has been difficult and challenging. Economic results are challenging, plants are closing, there's too much capacity, not enough supply.
So right now, how are we doing with capacity in the pet food space?
That's a difficult number to know, but I would say, in my opinion, I think we're at or close to equilibrium.
Coming from a deficiency?
Yes, coming from a deficiency, and with all the investment going on in the expansion, we might be reaching equilibrium or surplus.
Right.
The challenging part of this is that the overall industry, the dynamics of what is going into dog food and cat food has changed. So the plants we have today and in the past are different than what we need in the future. Old plants they called brown and ground, corn-based diets and things of that nature, feed mills, and now there's high inclusion, raw meat, specialty, limited ingredient, and those plants need coolers, special extruders. So you have to ask the question, is that capital investment required, or is it expanding capacity?
Right. So, and how have historical events in the pet food industry affected capacity?
Historical events such as new quality regulations, FSMA, HACCP, even the recalls have really changed the game. And I like to say that the old plants don't cut the mustard.
And besides that takeaway, what are some other takeaways that you hope that the attendees that listened to your presentation had today?
I think if it spurred some dialogue to examine their own plants and understand where are we at on the continuum, and then most importantly, what is the characteristic of the survivors? What makes a plant or a company survive? And I think some key indicators of that are what Charles Darwin would suggest, and that is not necessarily the strongest or the smartest, but the ability for a company to change is what makes the difference in terms of long-term sustainability. Do you understand your company? Do you know how to manage the things you can control? Do you understand what the key performance measures are? Are you a lean organization? Do you eliminate waste? Do you have strategic partnerships? Lots of questions like that.
Petfood Forum provides the ideal opportunity for pet food professionals from around the world to network, exchange ideas, and do business with one another with the industry's leading pet food manufacturers and suppliers. Our speakers are leading recognized pet food industry experts. Monday is all about the Pet Food Innovation Workshop. So here's the schedule for those joining us at K-State Olathe. Here are some things you don't want to miss. Today's hands-on workshop offers an all-star speaker lineup and unique learning takeaways to help improve your business. Tonight, you don't want to miss our opening night reception. We'll see you there. Known as the barbecue capital of the world and for its live jazz, Kansas City is a gracious and historic blend of cultures, arts, and professional sports teams, and it also features vibrant restaurants, hotels, shops, and art galleries. Hi, and welcome to Pet Food Forum TV. I'm your host, Kristen Levine, and today I'm joined by Dr. Sarah Cutler. Yesterday you presented on the impact of diet composition on shelf life. So give us a little synopsis of what your talk was about.
Well, what's amazing about the pet food industry is that we do use a lot of byproducts from human food, as well as sometimes food grade materials, and how fresh those materials are really makes a difference in the shelf life of the diet. So I went through, of course, fats, how stable that fat is because it goes on the outside of the kibble. That's very important to prevent the formation of off odors, as well as carbohydrate sources, which can be almost anything, can be rice, can be lots of different grains, as well as protein. And protein has been a focus of ours at Kemin because it's a big part of the diet, and the freshness of that material going in there really impacts how well the diet performs, as well as how it tastes to the pet and if they accept it or not.
What are the biggest challenges in terms of stability?
Well, you know, diet substitutions, pet food is a really interesting thing because we use a variety of materials, and you know, markets change. So things like gluten-free, no corn, no wheat, no soy, those sorts of claims in pet food. If you start substituting ingredients out, then you can change the shelf life of a diet. So a lot of times, you know, those decisions are made based on, you know, making the package look good or making the diet appealing to the consumer, not necessarily making it shelf life stable, but that's why my job is really interesting. It's been a great industry to work in because it is very creative.
Yeah. So what do you hope some of the takeaways are that your attendees had from the presentation?
I hope that they think about where their raw material comes from, especially things like raw, fresh meat, you know, how it's handled, how fresh that material is going into the diet, because that can really make a difference. And we want to provide pets with the best smelling, best tasting, most appealing diet that we can. So we'll help as much as we can, but yeah, make good decisions about raw material quality.
Okay, great. And what have you've been at Kemin for a little more than
8 years.
8 years? Okay.
Yeah,
So
at least.
what are some of the most significant changes you've seen in the industry since your time at Kemin?
Oh, grain-free, so very high protein diets. You know, the technology for extrusion has changed so much that pet food companies can incorporate large amounts of meats into their diet now. The no corn, no wheat, no soy thing. Regulations such as like identity preserved, non-GMO, U.S. origin, the amount of regulatory thought and care that is put into these diets, as well as things like incorporation of new ingredients. So ancient grains, beans, those sorts of things just weren't present in diets a few years ago. So it changes all the time.